Like our last guest, she's no stranger to the publishing world. If artists trade in color, then Lerato Tshabalala, her trade is in words, and she's here today. Girl, you are trending.
Baba, you have no idea. You have no idea. Like, it's unbelievable what has happened.
Who first called you to be like, hey, babe, you might want to wear a bulletproof vest if you want to go on Twitter?
My friend Anele, I was like lying leisurely in bed, and it was like 2 in the afternoon. I thought, oh, let me go check my data. I switch on my data, and literally, like, there's like a slew of messages. She's like, friend, listen, I think that you need to have a drink before you look at your phone, before you go to Twitter. And I looked, and it was lit for days.
Lit. People who would never message you in their lives were like looking for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, completely. It was totally like that. It was totally like that. And I was saying to somebody, the ironic thing is that the book, which luckily you've read, starts with a social media chapter.
Exactly.
So I think it's quite ironic that social media is what made the book pop in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it almost goes to what I was saying about the fact that social media gives people power. You know, it gives people the sense of, I can say something and I have a right to say something.
And there'll be no consequences.
Of course.
There'll be no consequences. Look, let's retrace. I want people to get to know you before they decide whether they like you or not.
Thank you so much.
So there we go. I mean, you worked at Oprah magazine. You were at Marie Claire. You've been at Sunday Times. You were also at True Love like Sbu was. So basically, you're a wordsmith.
Yeah.
This is what you do, right?
Yep.
And you were a columnist at Sunday Times as well, where you were quite opinionated. And, you know, the things you're writing in the book is exactly what you were writing in Sunday Times.
Exactly. In fact, the book is a result of a column I wrote called The 15 Things That White People Should Know About Black People.
Yeah.
I was leaving to go to True Love, and I thought, you know what? They're not going to fire me, so I'm going to say exactly what I want to say. Okay?
This is my goodbye.
Yeah, this is my goodbye. And I said to white people, we swim. We wash our hair.
Yeah.
Please don't say to us, you speak so well.
Not all of us can dance.
Exactly. Exactly. So I went into things like that, and as a result, Penguin called me and they said, listen, we want you to write something like this. You know, something equally as provocative.
This is years ago.
Yeah, this is years ago. I mean, this was, they first approached me, I think, in 2011.
Yeah.
In 2011.
And then you went off to True Love.
Yeah, I went off to True Love, and obviously, there I couldn't write a book.
I was about to say, did you Gaviscon yourself where there's like a fire and you just like put it down at True Love?
Listen, Gaviscon, like it was sanitized all the way through. Even to the point where even the things that I tweeted before, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. You know, I couldn't do that anymore because you're a magazine editor and there's a certain sort of standard that you're held to. You know.
I read somewhere that you say the magazine world is very glamorized, right? What's the alternative? And it can still work, because I think the reason they can still sell, and yes, the sales have gone down, you know, that's another whole debate.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would sell if they weren't aspirational as they are. So what's the alternative to the glamour?
You know, unfortunately, when you're black, the alternative to the glamour are the Tokoloshi stories.
Which also sell.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things I think should happen in media is that we should understand that there are different audiences. There is somebody who may want the glamour life, but may also want the Tokoloshi story. There's somebody who might not be interested in any of that. I think that we've made it so linear, black audiences, that we're not realizing that there are layers within layers within layers. When you look at magazine stands, you would swear that we don't live in a country where 87% of the people are black, because it's not reflective. There are not that many brown faces.
I think I have an issue with South African magazines.
Yeah, of course, you should.
And I don't buy South African magazines that don't put, and this is male magazines, and if you're not putting South Africans on the cover, I'm not
What's the point?
I'm not rolling with you, because I just feel like I can go into the internet and get news about anyone else in the world. Right here, I want to talk to our people. Yeah. So you are True Love. What do you find, you know, spurs you to go to work, you know, with a spring in your step? And what do you find makes you think, oh, do I have to go back there again?
I had a fantastic team of people that I worked with, okay? Because for me, nobody works for me. You work with people. I'm one of the soldiers. And we were a fantastic team. I mean, most magazines are known to be mainly 80% white and 20% black. And literally, I only had 2 white people on my staff. The rest were black.
But I mean, it's a black magazine. Obviously, you're going to have to have black
It was a
people on
conscious decision for me to say we could meet deadlines in the same way and bring out an equally fantastic product without having to feel like, you know, you're dancing to somebody. And we produced fabulous covers, and like I say, it was an awesome team. The parts that made me go, ugh, was the pandering to advertisers, because they keep the lights on, you know. So you had to sort of go, oh, hi, Anele, I love you. When it's not necessarily like that. Obviously, there's some clients who are fantastic, who respect the audiences, but there are other clients who just
and also clients who understand that you understand the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that research will never know the things that I know instinctively because I'm a black woman. Yeah. I am the woman that I'm talking to. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. And my aunts, my mom. So
I see them. I am them.
I am them. So your research is not going to validate my experience. My lived experience is validated by the woman I'm talking to because I'm one of them.
So now you're at Afropolitan?
Yes, I am at Afropolitan.
How long have you been there?
It's been just over 2 months.
So you're back in the publishing field. Do you not feel that the backlash you've been getting for your book is going to make you, get out the starting block a lot slower than you would have normally?
But, I mean, possibly. I think you're totally right. There is that possibility. But I mean, I have over 15 years experience in print publishing. I think that's my track record is what will speak for me. I'm also grateful, Anele. I mean, the way I see it, the book is number 4 for the past 2 weeks of the non-fiction books in the country. Nice. So that is really awesome because people are going and they're buying the book. And I think if anything, it'll probably drive more people to go to Afropolitan. Afropolitan has been around for 10 years. Yeah. And now it's going through sort of a revamp. I'm doing a redesign for them. We are getting serious about sort of new media and merging.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's trends, there's social media, there's digital. Are you going in knowing full well that that's something you're going to have to be aggressive about?
Totally. I mean, when I started at True Love, they had no Twitter account, they had no Instagram. So those are things that I introduced. I introduced Fashion Fridays, which has now become a popular hashtag.
Of sorts.
So I mean, that's essentially what my job is. My job is to see what trends work and kind of figure out instinctively what will work. So I think that it'll probably have more people be interested in Afropolitan because of it. But at the end of the day, I'm a journalist, I'm a writer, I'm an editor. That's what I focus on. That's my livelihood.
I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
I think people forget that.
Yeah.
Because we can all write and post, write and publish.
Yeah.
The line is blurred between someone who's actually skilled at this and then somebody who's passionate at this.
Yeah, because I was even when approaching the book, I was very clear, because I did satire before. My column was called Urban Myths. And so I knew which parameters to work in terms of the law, what's right, what's hate speech, So even though I curse in the book, and I am quite blunt, it is within the journalistic rules of satire. I mean, or else Penguin Random House would not have published the book.
Because, I mean, Penguin's a big company. They're not going to run around, putting their penguin on random things.
Word is bond.
Okay, listen, we're going to discuss this book. On the way, we're about to talk about the book that has been trending the past month. Like you heard, it's number 4 on the non-fiction list. Everyone has an opinion on it, and we are going to find out why. We'll be back.
Side with SABC 3.
So the book is titled The Way I See It. It comes with a warning, guaranteed to offend, and offend it did. I'm laughing at you because as I was watching everyone say all these things, I was like, Oh, if they only knew Lerato really doesn't care. If they only knew. I wish I could just call each one up like, hey man, hey Susan _ 115. I have a message for you. Lerato doesn't care. Lerato doesn't care. So apparently you talk to yourself quite a bit.
I do. It's a terrible habit. It's a terrible habit.
So what have you found yourself murmuring to yourself about your book?
Damn, girl, if you wanted peace, you shouldn't have written the damn book. Because what has happened as a consequence is that I've had to do a lot of media.
Yeah.
And it's really strange being on the other side, because I'm used to, you know, interviewing people. I mean,
probing.
that's how you and I, that's how you and I know each other. So it's very strange to be on the other side, but it's also refreshing because people have been quite open, actually, about the book.
Because I Googled you, obviously you were coming on here. I was like, let me see what else I can find on you.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, it was like you'd never worked at Marie Claire. It was like you'd never worked at Oprah. It was like you'd never worked at Sunday Times.
Yeah.
Every article that came up was about this book.
Yeah.
You know, as much as it's great, and like you say, you're number 4 on, you know, on the list.
Yeah.
Does it not sometimes annoy you that you say, guys, this is the single narrative of me. There's so much more.
There's so much more. Okay, let me tell you, about 4 months ago, I was sitting with my best friend, and I said to her, these days when people meet me, they say, are you Lerato TJ? I know you from Instagram. And while I love it and I enjoy what social media does, I felt like there was no recognition of the body of work that came before that.
Yes.
And what was gratifying for me about that Sunday when Twitter got lit is that it was my name.
Yeah.
And I had said to her, I want people to remember my name, not a moniker that, you know, some pictures that you see on social media.
Yeah.
And I think once that happened, it was the universe answering me, saying, okay, you want people to
remember you?
Here's your name. Your name is going to...
Remember that you're a writer?
Exactly.
Here's
and
your
you have a
name.
background and you're a journalist, you know. I've gone through all the processes of being a writer, of being an assistant editor, and of being an editor. There's no step I haven't missed.
You haven't stepped on.
No.
So you gave a talk, and you know these were the points that you said you need to be successful. Check your ego, have humility, trust your instincts, hire people who are better than you, and you must be willing to admit that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I love these, and I was like, oh, the next time I give a talk, I'm a jack her. But what I liked the most was you must be willing to admit that you're wrong. And the quicker you do it, you know, the quicker everyone can just move on and get to it. What are you wrong about in terms of one of the things you read in the book? When people raise it and they're debating about it, you're just like, actually you're right. I could have written that in a different way. Or, you know, yeah, maybe my opinion is not as jacked up as I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, look, you mentioned something I've said before over and over, Anele, that I'm a writer. And when you're a writer, you're constantly tweaking.
Yes.
That's why eventually editors have to take it away from you, the writing, and say, you're done now.
Stop changing it.
And yes, I could have said things better. Yes, I could have expanded on some points, you know.
But at the same time,
people
could have read the entire book before they commented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a book needed to come out. The scheduling, people have been saying, what about the timing of the book? It's obviously alchemy, because I wrote this book a year ago. I was in a completely different space, and it came out now, and I think it came out at a time when people need to start talking, because clearly we're not talking. That's why people are calling people names, people are calling people monkeys, because the truth of the matter is that you're saying it at home, and you're getting so angry that that conversation is leaving your home, and you're now insulting people outward.
But I find that your book is that. It's things that people are saying, but now that somebody has put it in word form, it's almost, you know, once something is written and printed, then it's like an encyclopedia. Everything in an encyclopedia is true. You can't go against an encyclopedia, and I think that's what people felt. Because the more I read it now, I was like, okay, I'm not going to disagree with the content at all, because in a way, you're right. It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable that, yes, sometimes you do watch, you know, a show and people are kissing. You're like, guys, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I'm no major of kissing, or I'm no general of kissing or anything, but that's not how you do it. I shouldn't be seeing your tongue.
Yeah.
Let's unpack the whole I will hire white people before black people thing, because that's all people took from the article.
Yes.
What were you saying?
Okay. before I get there, I want to say that you and I were having a chat before that.
Yes.
The book is quite humorous.
It's funny.
It's a funny book, and the extract didn't have that.
Yeah.
So when you read it as just commentary without understanding that there are other things I say before about being cheap and my contribution to actually not paying black service providers. Because when somebody blacks us, you'll do a website for you and they say 5,000 and you're like, yeah, but you know this guy said he'll do it for 500.
Yeah,
you know,
forgetting about quality.
Yeah,
right?
and if you are not going to spend money on somebody, you're going to bleed even more. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, okay, wait. Just change the cycle. Pay people what they deserve, you know? And when they are great, tell them they're great, but they must also rise to the occasion. I mean, I'm a black service provider myself, so I include myself in that, you know? Beyond time, let's not talk about African time. Let's just get it right.
You know, there's so many things we hide behind as, you know, black South Africans, like, well, you know, this is us, we're late. And another one is, it's on page 31 where you're talking, look at me, I even know page 31. Where
No,
like,
I love it.
Take this book, for instance. Some readers will be saddened by the amount of profanity in it. People who used to like me will be disappointed by how candid I am about the things that I like. They'll enjoy the book, but they'll never quite get over the swear words. Because you're a black girl, you're not allowed to swear, remember?
Yeah, of course. You're nice and sweet, and how could you? And I keep saying to people, I mean, I've been listening to hip-hop since I was 13. I'm 36 now, you know. Tupac, Snoop, you know, the records, everything. Even now, even if you listen to MT, this is what hip-hop does to you. It's in your language, you know. So I wanted it to sound like me. I wanted people to almost hear me when they're sitting at home reading it. I didn't want to write a book that sounded incredibly smart, but that was going to collect dust. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted people to participate in reading and feel something when they read the book, because it was like that writing it.
So I was saying, you know, I was not offended by the content, but it takes a lot to offend me. You really have to, like, you know, dig up my mom from a grave and swear at her for me to be offended, right? But I was saying to you that there were some times when I felt, okay, the tone, I think it's your tone. And I know this, you know, in what I do, we always say it's TT. You'll get everything you want from people. It's your timing and your tone. So we've spoken about your timing. Would you change your tone a little with this book?
No, you know, I don't think I would. I don't think I would. You know what was interesting about writing this book? And I wrote it right after my mentor and my father passed away. So I actually had no sense of humor because I was grieving. And it is uncomfortable for you because it was uncomfortable for me. Okay, so I had to face my truth, the things I didn't like about myself, to get to a place where I could like myself.
And also, people don't realize you diss yourself a lot
in this book.
In fact, before you dissing the fact that we like to eat pies, I like a pie, Lerato, I'm going to eat pies forever.
So do I, okay.
You know, before you dissing, you know, the way we kiss, before you dissing, you know, the things we do, you put yourself in the forefront. You're the first soldier to fall. And then I heard you speak somewhere else and you said, I'm friendly, but I'm not nice.
No, I'm not. I think niceness denotes that everybody you see is, you know, it's all good. You can hug each other. And for me, I'm from Azola. You don't come at me sideways, okay? You don't. Let's just not make that mistake, you know.
Don't come to me. I didn't call you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the kind of person I am by nature, and I think that friendliness is being approachable. In fact, my publicist always says, do you have to talk to everybody when we are at the till, you know? But I like that it's acknowledging people. But I used to be nice, and when you're nice, you become a dominant. People wipe their feet on you because they think you're stupid. And I realized, I can actually change that. And so I'm incredibly friendly. People tell you when they meet me, I'm friendly, but I'm not about to let you speak to me any which way you want.
I'm friendly, but I'm not familiar.
No, that's not Jolanga.
You also say that reputation is everything you have. You know, so after this, the way I see it, you know, where's your reputation at?
Look, I think people are going to know way too much about me after reading this. You know, because I talk about sex, which includes my sex life, my situationships, my friendships. But I hope more than anything is that the country's reputation gets better, because our reputation at the moment as a country, and that's what the book is about.
Yeah.
It's me reflecting on us as a society. We're wounded as a people, and I think that we need to work on how we perceive ourselves so that we can work on how people perceive us as well. But we can't do that without actually putting up the mirror and say, how do we manage our reputation? Think of the different countries in the world. They all have a reputation. Think certain things of France and of America, and South Africa needs to decide, who are we, what do we stand for?
Good luck at Afropolitan.
Thank you very much.
I think this is brave, if nothing else.
Thank you.
And yeah, if they're under 18, don't read it just yet. I think over 18, you can read it. It's nice. It's a conversation with someone, and I like reading because it's a chance for you to have a conversation with someone without interrupting them.
Yeah.
You're right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you for this, Lerato Tshabalala. The way I see it, it's in stores. It's currently number 4. Maybe you can make it number 1. Go for it. Listen, they're called cliches because they are true. The pen is indeed mightier than the sword. Thank you so much to my guests today, Usbu Mpongos as well as Lerato Tshabalala. I call them my pen soldiers. We'll catch up with you next time. Real Talk with Anele. Ciao, ciao.